dream of living here, right? But when I came here, the reality is a little bit different. Vietnam is not for everyone. If you are watching a lot of YouTube channel, people tell you you can survive in Vietnam for 1,000 a month, live like a king.
Okay, hello, Jay.
Hello, Anne.
Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is T. I was born in Vietnam and left for US in 1990, and I used to live in the Bay Area for 33 years, and now I'm in Vietnam for 2 years.
I know you never ask a woman this question,
Okay.
but how old
How
are
old
you?
am
Tell the
I?
audience.
You was calling me auntie.
Auntie.
Yeah, auntie. So I'm 51 years old. I just turned 51.
And do you work right now?
You know, I supposed to be retired, but now I'm working part-time. I am a real estate consultant, but not in Vietnam, in US.
So what are you doing in Vietnam?
So we moved here, my husband and I, we moved here 2 years ago. Not for my work, I supposed to be retired, semi-retired, coming back from my hometown, Vietnam, because I was born in Saigon. So my husband company works in Asia. So he asked me, where do you want to live in Asia? Because his business in Singapore, Hong Kong, in Asia. So I'm like, yeah, let's do Vietnam because I want to have a base in Vietnam because this is where I came from. So we chose Vietnam to have a home here.
So technically you're semi-retired. You don't need to work.
I don't need to work for a living anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean I'm not rich, but I'm comfortable. I'm okay. I've been working for all my life. So we chose Thảo Điền because my husband is non-Vietnamese. He's original, came from Norway, so he's Scandinavian, but he lived in the States for many, many years. But we chose Thảo Điền because 2 years ago when we moved here, I brought my 15 years old son, but he had to go to school. So Thảo Điền has a lot of international school here.
Hong Kong, Taipei, why Vietnam?
Because I was born in Vietnam and I'm Vietnamese. So for me, my dream just like coming home, you know, because I was born in District 3. So for me, it's like coming home and I'm Vietnamese, right? But if my husband used to live in Singapore. He's like, you're not going to like Singapore. It's expensive and it's different. And for me, Vietnamese, just like you, like I want to come back here and live in my childhood dream.
Talk more about retirement, right? Talking about so you are semi-retired. But how about your husband? Your husband still works?
Actually, my husband still working. He's still working full time, but not in Vietnam. His company in Singapore, and he's working. Yeah, he always do Zoom call. We don't even have to work anymore. We semi-retired, but he still want to work. He's still young. You know, when you stop, your mind is just stop. So we like to work.
Do you recommend people retire in Vietnam?
Well, I can't really recommend, but I can say this. Vietnam is not for everyone, okay? If you are watching a lot of YouTube channel, people tell you you can survive in Vietnam for 1,000 a month, live like a king. You have to come here and experience Vietnam for yourself because Vietnam life is so different from person to person. You can really apply. It's not one size fit all. Expat community in Vietnam is not very big. You know, we actually don't have a lot of friends here. So really depends on your line of work. I mean, if you work in tech, like my husband in tech, and mostly he likes to connect with tech people. And there's not many tech people in Vietnam, you know, and he only talk. And I'm in real estate. I mean, I'm very easy. I can make any friends, but the expat community in Vietnam is go in and out. Like when I used to live in the building, I just barely connect with a group of lady. And then next month she told me, okay, we are moving to France, we move into China, we move into Hong Kong. Because expats came here, young family, mostly they came here for work. It's really hard to make a connection. However, if you wanted to retire in Vietnam, I think the best community for retirement would be Da Nang or Nha Trang or Vũng Tàu. They have a small expat community, but really depend on the lifestyle. If you want to live simple, one person you can survive on 1,000 or 2,000 a month. However, if you want to have a standard living, like where you want to live back home, you know, it's all different. Like if I tell you the pricing rental for my home, it's totally different. Like in Da Nang, you can, let's say in Thao Dien, you can find a 2-bedroom apartment for 30 millions, or you can find a 2-bedroom for 50 millions. So it all depends on your lifestyle. Like if you can eat anything on the street, whatever, then it's cheap. But if you want a quality of life, like I don't eat on the street that much. I'm sorry, I'm Vietnamese, but because my immune system is not very strong, so I don't eat street food. Like I have a cook, I have a helper, and sometimes we eat like a normal restaurant. It could be expensive. And for insurance, right, we have international health care. It's expensive.
How much do you pay for your healthcare?
You want to know?
Yes.
So we have international health care by the company named Hanner. Hanner is from France. We pay 9,000 a year.
Wow.
But it's cover Vietnam, Singapore, Bangkok, everything except for US and Hong Kong. I think US and Hong Kong. But if we like, because we older, right? We're not that young, so we wanna, like if something happened to us, we can be able to cover to go to Singapore hospital. Yeah. And if you want, like for me, like, you know, I'm a little bit careful about my health. So we go to, you know, we go to a bigger hospital, which is more expensive. And like, let's just say for food, right? I mean, if you want like a good steak, it's expensive in Vietnam, right? If you go to like a steakhouse for 2 people, if you want a good steak and you want a good dinner, it can be easily $4 to $5 million. It's expensive. So if you want a quality life, Vietnam is not that cheap.
It's not that cheap. But
and if
a lot of foreigners online, right? Vietnam is cheap.
They think it's cheap. Vietnam is cheap if you stay in a okay housing, right? If you stay in my building, the lowest, cheapest 3-bedroom without remodeling would be 2,000 per month. Just housing. And electricity, water, food, insurance. I mean, some people, like, they don't need to buy insurance. They can just go to the hospital and pay cash. But if you want to go to a regular clinic, it's cheap. But if you want to go to FV,
it's not cheap.
Each visit, they charge you $1.2 to $1.5 million for doctor visit.
So if someone wants to live a life like this, higher standard of living, how much would you suggest they spend each month?
Spending. So if somebody come here, husband and wife, for retire or still working?
Let's say retirement.
Retirement, okay.
Single person.
Single person wouldn't go for this. Okay, so if somebody young, single person, because I have a lot of young friends.
But they want to retire though.
So they want, if you single, you want a 1-bedroom in Thao Dien, 1 bedroom in a nice building would be 1,000 a month.
Just
1,000 a month, just a living.
Okay.
And then on top of that, you have electric bills, Wi-Fi, food. And then, you know, if you have a girlfriend going to be dating, I think for a single person to be very comfortable, you need between two is, I think, okay. If you want a little bit more money, sometimes you can go on vacation, would be 2,000 to 3,000. 3,000. And if a couple, I would say 3,000 to 5,000.
3,000 to 5,000.
Yeah.
You're
3,000 to 5,000 comfortable. But if you have kids, it's expensive.
Speaking of kids, you have your kids to international school here.
Yes.
How much is it for 1 year at the international school?
1 year international school, I'm talking about the top one, like ISHMIC and BIS and SSIS in District 7 would be around $40,000 US.
For
almost $1 billion.
Just for one kid.
Yeah, $1 billion. Yeah, about 40,000.
You're buying like a car a year.
Yes, expensive. Having
Wow.
kids is expensive.
Wow.
Yeah, but we don't have a choice, right? Our son has to go to school. Yeah.
So you came back to Vietnam, right? Do you like it? What is your overall attitude? Like you said, the culture, the mindset is different, but do you see yourself long term? Do you want to keep retiring here, or what's next?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I have to be very honest here. And so Vietnam, like I say, is not for everyone. You know, if you're watching his channel or anybody's channel, come here and try for yourself and have to be here 6 months. And retirement in Vietnam, I think is really easy. But however, when you first came here, can be very challenging. Because when I first came here, I'm Vietnamese. I speak like fluently in Vietnam. I can read and write, and it's a lot of challenging for me, even find housing. So I think retirement here is okay. It could be better. It's just, but when you get into the system, it's okay. It's easy, right? The people very friendly. It's nice. However, for the retirement community here, a lot of people told me it's a lot of challenging with the visa. If you are non-Vietnamese and you don't have Vietnamese passport, you have to go out in and out of the country like. Yeah, or you have to go to the border to get your visa. So that could be very challenging.
So you talked about challenges. Can you tell the audience what are some of those obstacles that you face?
Yeah, we are. I mean, it's not like we dislike, but thing that we don't like about Vietnam is the challenge that me and my husband have, and it's the mindset of the local people. Because in Vietnam, the mindset people here when they work is not the same like we used to do in the States, or when we used to deal with international. So in Vietnam, let's say if you go to work, right, you have a contract. Contract is not really a contract, it's a good faith. People don't really enforce it. Yes. So the mindset, and even let's say if you build a team here, right? Let's say you in marketing, you build a team.
Sure.
People can come and work for you, and one day they not even show up, and they don't even tell you they quit.
Wow.
Yeah, and even though when you work, you do a project, the way you think in US is like the way that where we came from. We think of the bigger picture. Here is everything shortcut. Yeah, everything here, people don't think far. So the mindset is the most challenging things in Vietnam. That is why you see that so many projects is still, I mean, you can see
in terms of housing.
Wow. Or sometimes you see a lot of project is not done. Because when the foreigner come to Vietnam and sometimes they do a project, it can be done. It's just it's a lot of it's a lot of challenging.
How about some personal challenges that you can share?
Personal challenging for me, I love Vietnam. This is my home. Okay, so before moving here, I was dream of living here, right? But when I came here, the reality is a little bit different. So if you live in the state a little bit longer, like maybe 20 years or 30 years or more, or you even born in the state, like I don't really like hygiene in Vietnam. Like people don't wash hands here. Yeah, so I don't like that. And sometimes when we go on the street, there's no sidewalk.
Right.
You know about that?
I miss going on like back home Canada. You can wake up early and just go for like a walk around the block. Actually,
for us, it's the same thing. When we live in Thao Dinh, we thought like on the morning or maybe like after dinner, we like to walk around Thao Dinh and just like relax. But you know what? We found that we can't even really walk on the street because first of all, there's not really, we don't have a sidewalk here in Saigon. And we live in the local called the most expensive neighborhood in Saigon. This is the most expensive, and there's no sidewalk. And sometimes when we walk and the car would just like, you know, they almost hit you. Yeah, and we felt like that's the thing we don't like. Yeah.
So as we're wrapping up this interview, you talk about having, if you live together with someone, at least have $3,000 to spend in terms of having a good life?
I
Three to-
think
three to
I
four
think
thousand?
for a couple, if they want to retire, they can live very comfortable for 3,000. Even 2,000, you can live very comfortable in Vietnam. If you live in Da Nang, you can have a really nice apartment for 1 bedroom for like 7 to 8 million. But if you go on a high end, the 2 bedroom condo would be about 25 million to 30 million, maybe around 1,000 to 1,002 for like a more high end. So I think for a couple 3,000, they can live very comfortable in Da Nang or Nha Trang. But in Thao Dien, I think it's a little bit just barely enough.
Some of you talk about hygiene, you talk about just different mindsets. Do you see yourself wanting to retire here? Then actually, because you're retiring now here in Vietnam, but the next 10 years, like what's next for GT?
So we haven't chose Vietnam to retire because I left Vietnam 33 years ago, when I was 16.
Yeah.
So for me, I want to know what it's like for me in Vietnam. So for me, it's like an experience. We may not retire in Vietnam. Personally, I want to be back to US 6 months. But if I have to retire, I will live in Vietnam part-time. I love Thailand. So one day I would love to live in Thailand half-time because I like the hospital. My husband, he loves sailing. He loves boat. And in Thailand, they have bigger expat community.
For sailing.
For sailing and boat.
Cool.
My husband from Norway. So he likes sailing and boat. So we may explore another country because life is too short, right? But Vietnam, like maybe in the future, part-time, but not full-time.
Okay, awesome. I think that's a wrap. Thank you, JT, for
Okay.
being on my channel. If you know Vietnamese, you wanna check out her channel, all about Viet Kius who want to retire in Vietnam.
But my
right?
channel is so boring. Your channel is interesting.
Her channel, she's famous, more famous than me.
No,
I'll put in the description.
my channel is only about the Viet Kieu retire in Vietnam.
Yeah.
I did it for fun and it just I got popular. But thanks to you, I am your fan.
Really?
I am your fan. One thing I love about your channel is real. You just have to be you, uncut, and just share your own experience.
Cũng khó chị ơi. It's hard. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye bye everybody.